At 14:23 hours in the Persian Gulf, the crystal blue waters suddenly erupted with the high-pitched whine of electric motors. From the Iranian coastline, 200 kilometers away, a black cloud began rising into the sky. Not smoke, but something far more sinister. Hundreds of Shahed 136 kamikaze drones, followed by swarms of smaller FPV quadcopters, all heading directly toward the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group. On the bridge of the Ford, Captain Sarah Mitchell watched her radar screens fill with contacts. First dozens, then hundreds of small signatures moving at 180 km/h toward her battle group. The most advanced naval force in human history was about to face its nightmare scenario: a coordinated drone swarm attack designed to overwhelm every defensive system America had built. Air raid sirens began wailing across the carrier group. F-35 Lightning IIs scrambled from the flight deck as Failank's close-in weapon systems automatically swiveled toward the incoming threat. In 14 minutes, those drones would reach the carrier group. The question wasn't whether America could defend itself, it was whether any ship would survive what was coming. What you're about to witness is the ultimate test of American naval power against 21st century warfare. Hit that subscribe button immediately, because what happens next will show you why the US Navy remains the most feared force on the planet. And here's what's terrifying. Every drone, every missile, every defensive system you're about to see exists right now. Don't click away. The final outcome will shock you. This scenario isn't fantasy. Right now, Iran operates the world's largest drone arsenal outside of major powers. Their Shahed factories produce thousands of kamikaze drones annually. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has perfected swarm tactics, overwhelming Israeli Iron Dome systems in recent conflicts. These aren't toys. They're weapons of war that have already changed the Middle East. Iran sees American carrier groups as their primary threat. Every time a US carrier enters the Persian Gulf, Iranian commanders calculate strike packages. They know they can't defeat American ships in traditional naval combat, so they've built an entire military doctrine around asymmetric drone warfare. But wait, what you're about to see proves why American naval engineering remains decades ahead of any threat. Let's start with the weapon that first engaged the drone swarm, the Failank's close-in weapon system, the automated guardian that has protected American ships for 4 decades. And when you learn what this system can do in 6 seconds, you'll understand why sailors call it the R2-D2 of death. Phalanx was born from a nightmare scenario in 1973, when Egyptian anti-ship missiles sank the Israeli destroyer Eilat. The US Navy realized that supersonic missiles could overwhelm traditional ship defenses. General Dynamics began developing an automated last resort system that could engage threats without human intervention. First deployment was in 1980, and Phalanx has been saving ships ever since. Here are the technical specifications that make enemies fear this system. The M61A1 Vulcan cannon fires 20mm depleted uranium rounds at 4,500 rounds per minute. That's 75 bullets per second. The radar can track targets as small as a seagull at 9 kilometers and simultaneously engage multiple threats. The entire system weighs 6.2 tons and operates completely autonomously. But don't change channels. What makes Phalanx truly terrifying is its reaction time. From target detection to first shot, 2.5 seconds. The system can engage targets moving at 3,600 km/h, faster than most missiles. Each 20-meter round creates a wall of tungsten that shreds anything it touches. And here's what's incredible. Phalanx has never failed to engage a detected threat. Combat history proves Phalanx works. During the 1987 tanker war, USS Stark's Phalanx system was offline when Iraqi missiles hit. 37 sailors died. Lesson learned. In 1991, Phalanx systems shot down Iraqi missiles targeting coalition ships. In recent conflicts, these systems have intercepted rockets, drones, and small boats with near-perfect accuracy. Each Phalanx system costs $15 million and requires minimal crew maintenance. The US Navy operates over 890 systems on ships worldwide. Allies including Japan, South Korea, and NATO nations use Phalanx variants. The system has been upgraded 12 times, with the latest Block 1B capable of engaging surface targets and small boats. In our scenario, 18 Failank systems across the carrier group activated simultaneously at 14:35 hours. Their radars locked onto the nearest drone clusters at maximum range. But what happened in the next 90 seconds redefined naval combat forever. Stay tuned. The fireworks are just beginning. Now let's talk about what launched from the Ford's deck to meet this swarm. F-35C Lightning II fighters, the most advanced naval aircraft ever built. And what I'm about to reveal about their capabilities will show you why Iran's drones were flying into a technological trap. The F-35 Lightning II represents the largest defense program in history, $1.7 trillion over its lifetime. Development began in 1995 as the Joint Strike Fighter program, designed to replace multiple aircraft types across all U.S. services. Lockheed Martin created 3 variants: the F-35A for the Air Force, F-35B for Marines, and F-35C for Navy carriers. First flight was in 2006, but the real revolution came with its operational capabilities. But hold tight, the F-35's sensor capabilities will blow your mind. The AN/APG-81 AESA radar can track 23 targets simultaneously while maintaining stealth. But that's just the beginning. The distributed aperture system uses 6 infrared cameras to give pilots 360-degree vision through the aircraft. They can literally see through the plane's floor to targets below. Technical specs that dominate the battlefield: 15.7 meters long, 10.7 meter wingspan, maximum speed of 1,930 km/h. The single Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine produces 43,000 pounds of thrust, more powerful than 2 F-16 engines combined. Internal weapons bays carry 5,700 kilograms of ordnance, while maintaining stealth signature smaller than a golf ball. Don't go anywhere. The F-35's real superpower isn't what it carries, but what it sees. The electro-optical targeting system can identify targets 50 kilometers away in any weather. The electronic warfare suite can jam enemy radars while remaining invisible. Each F-35 acts as a flying sensor platform, sharing targeting data with every ship and aircraft in the battle group. Combat experience proves F-35 dominance. Israeli F-35Is have conducted over 400 combat missions in Syria and Gaza with 0 losses. In 2018, an F-35 achieved the type's first air-to-air kill, shooting down a Syrian Su-22. The aircraft's stealth allows it to operate in heavily defended airspace, where other fighters would be destroyed. Each F-35C costs $103 million. Expensive, but consider this. One F-35 can coordinate the entire battle group's response while remaining invisible to enemy sensors. The U.S. operates 450-plus F-35s with orders for 2,400 more. Allies including UK, Italy, and Japan operate F-35 variants. In our scenario, 4 F-35Cs launched from the Ford at 14:30 hours. Their mission wasn't just to shoot down drones, it was to find and destroy the Iranian control stations coordinating the attack. But what they discovered 150 kilometers inland will change everything. Keep watching. The hunt is about to begin. Hunt. Now let's examine the crown jewel itself, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built and the primary target of Iran's drone swarm. And what I'm about to tell you about this floating city will explain why it's virtually unsinkable. The Gerald R. Ford represents a quantum leap in naval technology. Construction began in 2009 with a total cost of $13.3 billion, making it the most expensive warship in history. But every dollar bought revolutionary capabilities that no other Navy can match. The Ford class was designed to operate for 50 years and conduct 160,000 aircraft sorties without major overhaul. Here are the mind-blowing specifications. 337 meters long, 78 meters wide at the flight deck, large enough to park 3 football fields end to end. Displacement of 100,000 tons makes it one of the largest moving objects created by humans. But size isn't everything. It's what's inside that matters. But stay with us. The Ford's power systems will amaze you. 2 A-1B nuclear reactors generate 700 megawatts of electrical power, enough to power a city of 750,000 people. This massive power enables revolutionary systems, electromagnetic aircraft launch systems, EMALS, instead of steam catapults. electromagnetic recovery systems, and directed energy weapons that can literally vaporize incoming threats. The flight deck can launch 270 sorties per day, 25% more than previous carriers. The ship carries 75-plus aircraft including F-35Cs, F/A-18E, F Super Hornets, E-2D Hawkeyes, and MH-60 helicopters. 4 weapons elevators can move 24,000 pounds of ordnance per minute from magazines to flight deck. Don't switch channels. The Ford's defensive systems are incredible. The AN/SPY-3 dual-band radar can track targets the size of a basketball at 400 kilometers. The evolved Sea Sparrow missile system provides mid-range defense, while rolling airframe missiles handle short-range threats. And those Failank systems, the Ford carries 4 of them. But here's what makes the Ford truly revolutionary: integrated warfare systems. Every sensor, every weapon, every aircraft operates as part of a single network. The ship's computers can coordinate defensive fire from every system simultaneously, while directing F-35 strikes against enemy positions. It's not just a carrier, it's a floating command center for naval warfare. The Ford carries 4,539 crew members, but automation reduces personnel requirements by 700 compared to previous carriers. Advanced damage control systems can seal breaches and fight fires automatically. The ship can survive direct hits from anti-ship missiles that would sink smaller vessels. In our scenario, the Ford's defensive network activated at 1425 hours. Combat Information Center tracked 847 individual drone signatures approaching from multiple vectors. The ship's computers calculated engagement priorities while emails prepared to launch additional F-35s. But what the Ford's sensors detected next changed the entire tactical picture. Now meet the enemy technology that sparked this confrontation. And trust me, Iran's drone capabilities will surprise you. Shahed 136. Suicide drones cost only $20,000 each but can fly 2,500 kilometers to their targets. These aren't sophisticated weapons, they're mass-produced flying bombs designed to overwhelm defenses through sheer numbers. Iran produces 6,000 plus annually in underground factories. The smaller FPV racing drones cost under $500 each but carry 2-kilogram warheads capable of disabling ship systems. Iranian Revolutionary Guards have perfected swarm tactics using artificial intelligence to coordinate hundreds of drones simultaneously. Each swarm can adapt to defensive fire, with surviving drones automatically retargeting based on battle damage assessment. But here's Iran's real innovation: layered drone attacks. First wave, cheap decoy drones to exhaust defensive ammunition. Second wave, Shahed 136 is targeting specific ship systems. Third wave, sea-skimming anti-ship missiles launched while defenses are overwhelmed. It's asymmetric warfare perfected for the drone age. But prepare for shock. The American response exceeded every Iranian calculation. Back to our battle. At 1438 hours, the first drone wave reached 50 kilometers from the carrier group. USS Gerald R. Ford's Failank systems opened fire, their distinctive brr-t sound echoing across the water. Streams of 20mm tungsten created a wall of death that no drone could penetrate. But this was just the opening act. F-35Cs engaged targets at 100 kilometers using AIM-120D missiles. Each shot was a guaranteed kill. Iranian drones had no stealth, no electronic countermeasures, no chance. But the real surprise came when Ford's directed energy weapons activated. Laser systems began literally vaporizing drones at light speed, creating spectacular explosions as fuel tanks ignited. Stay tuned. What happened next proved American naval supremacy beyond doubt. The second drone wave hit Ford's defensive perimeter at 1445 hours. Now, all systems engaged simultaneously. Phalanx guns, Sea Sparrow missiles, rolling airframe interceptors, and laser weapons. The sky over the Persian Gulf became a light show of tracers and explosions. But Iran's third wave was the real test. Anti-ship missiles launched from concealed coastal positions, using the drone attack as cover. This is where Ford's advanced radar proved its worth. The AN/SPY-3 system distinguished between drones, missiles, and decoys instantly. Sea Sparrow missiles launched to engage the anti-ship threats, while Phalanx continued shredding drones. By 1452 hours, the attack was over. Of 847 Iranian drones, 831 were destroyed before reaching the carrier group. 16 drones achieved terminal attacks, but caused only minor damage to non-critical systems. All Iranian anti-ship missiles were intercepted. The Ford's defensive systems expended 12,000 rounds of 20mm ammunition, 18 Sea Sparrow missiles, and 23 rolling airframe missiles. Expensive, but effective. Iranian losses were catastrophic. $200+ million in drones and missiles destroyed, launch sites identified for F-35 counterstrike, and their entire asymmetric strategy proven ineffective against American technology. The Ford continued operations without missing a single flight operation. But hold on, here's what I need to tell you right now. What you just watched was completely fictional. This drone swarm attack never happened. No Iranian drones were launched. No American ships were threatened. No weapons were fired in anger. But here's what should keep you awake at night. Every single system we discussed is completely real and operational. Failank CIWS systems, they're mounted on hundreds of American ships right now. F-35 Lightning IIs, they're flying combat missions as we speak. The USS Gerald R. Ford, she's deployed in the Mediterranean with her full complement of aircraft and weapons. Every technical specification, every defensive capability, every tactical advantage we analyzed is based on actual military hardware. What you just witnessed was not real, but it could happen tomorrow. Every weapon, every sensor, every countermeasure is deployed and ready. Only the scenario was imagined. And that might be the most sobering thing of all. Iran really does operate massive drone arsenals. American carrier groups really do patrol waters within Iranian missile range. The technology exists for this exact confrontation. Think about what you just saw. American defensive systems that can track and destroy hundreds of targets simultaneously. F-35s that can strike deep into enemy territory while remaining invisible. A carrier that generates enough power to supply a major city while launching aircraft every 30 seconds. This is why America controls the world's oceans. Iranian drones are cheap and numerous, but American technology is precise and devastating. Every Phalanx round costs $27, but each drone destroyed costs Iran $20,000. The mathematics of modern naval warfare favor quality over quantity, precision over mass. So tell me in the comments, would you bet against American naval technology in a real drone swarm attack? Which defensive system impressed you most? The rapid-fire Phalanx guns, invisible F-35 fighters, or the technological marvel that is the USS Gerald R. Ford? And what naval scenario should we simulate next? Smash that like button if this showed you the true power of American naval forces. Subscribe and hit notifications because we're diving into the weapons and tactics that keep America's enemies awake at night. Share this with anyone who thinks they understand modern naval warfare. After watching this, they'll realize why challenging the U.S. Navy is a losing proposition. The future belongs to those who master both offense and defense, quantity and quality, human skill and artificial intelligence. And in that competition, the United States Navy remains unmatched. Thanks for watching, and remember, in naval warfare, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.